This study aims to establish correlations between the Amarna Letters and biblical events, emphasizing the parallels between ancient texts and biblical narratives. This research highlights the similarities between the biblical account of Hadad-ezer's regrouping against Israel in 2 Samuel 10 and the Amarna Letters report of Rib-Hadad leading an anti-Habiru coalition, suggesting a potential connection between these two figures and their respective conflicts. The regrouping of the Aramean forces under Hadad-ezer posed a significant threat to King David, prompting him to take decisive action. The enemy resurgence might have led him to gather his elite warriors, the Gibborim. This group was divided into two main ranks, the 3 and the 30. The smaller and more prestigious group, the 3, was composed of Josheb-Basshebeth the Takamoni, El-Azar son of Dodo, and Shammah son of Ag. These mighty warriors may have played an even more critical role, particularly as the conflict intensified following the disappearance of Abishai from the biblical narrative. El-Azar, son of Dodo, is specifically described in the biblical account as one of the 3 mighty warriors of King David. In 2 Samuel chapter 23, verses 9 to 10, he is celebrated for his extraordinary bravery, standing firm in battle even when others retreated. Similarly, the Amarna Letters feature a character named Aziru, son of Tutu, whose actions and deeds parallel those of the biblical Eleazar, son of Dodo. At first glance, the parentage of Aziru appears controversial. His enemies refer to him as the son of Abd-Ashirta, but in his own correspondence through Amarna Letters 158 and 159, Aziru identifies himself as the son of Tutu. This Tutu was an Egyptian commissioner who worked to mediate the Levantine political landscape in favor of Pharaoh. In Amarna Letter number 159, it is Aziru who writes,
"Whatever may be the request of Tutu, my father, just write and I will grant it."
The double parentage may be harmonized by explaining that neither Abdi-Ashirta nor Dudu were biological fathers of Aziru, but political ones. His enemies would connect him as the successor of hostile Abd-Ashirta, who Pharaoh declared enemy of Egypt, while Aziru himself would emphasize his protection under Egyptian Commissioner Tutu to minimize Pharaoh's retaliation. Aziru is often portrayed in the Amarna Letters as a cunning and ambitious leader who sought to strengthen his position by balancing his allegiance between the Egyptians, the Habiru, and the Hittites. The connection with the Habiru in particular is very strong, as his enemies describe their allegiance in Amarna Letter 132, as it reads,
"O Pharaoh, Abdi-Ashirta attacked me, and I wrote to your father, 'Send the royal archers, and the entire land will be taken in a day.' Did he not take for himself Abdi-Ashirta, together with his possessions? Now Aziru has gathered all the Habiru."
The second mighty warrior in the Bible is the character Takamoni, which finds a phonetic parallel in the Amarna Letters to the ruler named Atakama. This military leader sought to strengthen his position by aligning himself with the Hittites, a rising power challenging Egyptian dominance. While Aziru, son of Tutu, directed his campaigns toward the coastal regions of Tyre, Byblos, and Sumur, targeting the coalition led by Rib-Hadad, Atakama took garrison in the city of Kadesh and concentrated his efforts on the mainland, engaging in battles against the cities of Damascus, Amku, and Katna. These campaigns are traditionally viewed as separate conflicts, but when considered within the broader context of King David's Aramean War, they might represent 2 battlefields of a single larger conflict. Interestingly, Amarna Letter number 140 describes Atakama as part of a unified military front, along with Aziru, son of Tutu, against the city of Byblos. It is the king of Byblos who writes,
"Aziru committed a crime when he was brought into you. The crime was against us. He sent his men to Atakama, and he smote all the lands of Amku, lands of the king."
This description aligns closely with the group known as the 3 mighty warriors of David and further connects King David to the Hittites, as reflected in his relationship with Uriah the Hittite, a member of the 30. After all, One of the major arguments against the historicity of the King David is the existence of such a character in the early Iron Age when the Hittite Empire was no more. In the context of the Amarna letter, the Hittite connection to the mighty warriors actually strengthens the reliability of the biblical text. The third mighty warrior described in the Bible, Shammah, son of Agi, finds a possible parallel in the intriguing figure of Shumhadda, whose name, when shortened by removing its theophoric component, closely resembles Shammah. Amarna letter number 8 describes his attacks on Babylonian caravans as a Habiru marauder, while Amarna letter number 97 specifically connects Shumhadda to the rebel leader Abdashirta and describes him as a figure with a reputation. He was under arrest in Egypt when this letter was sent to him from his legal defender, who writes,
To Shumhadda, a message of Yapahada, may your personal God show concern for you. I know that your reputation with the king is bad, but you did not cause the loss of the king's land. Abdashirta did.
These parallels highlight the possibility that David's warriors were not just fighters, but leaders and rulers with roles similar to those found in the Amarna correspondence. What is common among all these characters, according to the letters, is their association with the group named Habiru, often described as outlaws, mercenaries, or rebels in Canaan who opposed the established authorities under Egypt. David's warriors, like the Habiru, were outsiders in many ways, often fighting against the Philistines, Moabites, Arameans, and other enemies of Israel. The possible presence of King David's mighty warriors in the Aramean conflict mirrors the situation in the Amarna letter, where the collaboration among the Habiru and the so-called sons of Abdashirta could not allow Ribhadda to consolidate power. This parallel will be explored in the following chapter.